The following program is sponsored by the Building Wisconsin Television Network.
Welcome to another project here on Building Wisconsin. I'm Stuart Keith, and on today's show we're learning more about steam fitters and their role in the conversion process from coal to natural gas at the Valley Power Plant here in Milwaukee. So let's get started with Mike Woznicki from We Energies. You know, Mike, I've driven by this Valley Power Plant numerous times, and like so many people, never really gave it a second thought because I take our power for granted. But today I'm excited because we get to go inside and not only learn about how the power is generated, but learn more about some of the major changes going on here.
Yep, we're in the middle of a gas conversion project here where we're converting from the old coal-fired facility to the new gas-powered facility. Let me give you a little background on how long the plant's been here. The Valley Power Plant went commercial in 1968 for Unit 1 and 1969 for Unit 2. We've got 2 boilers per unit, 1 turbine per unit, and basically puts out 280 megawatts of power on the electrical grid and also supplies steam to over 400 customers downtown Milwaukee.
I find that fascinating. I didn't realize that there was actually steam being produced here that was being distributed throughout the downtown area. I just think of it as an electric plant.
No, we basically take some steam that we generate to turn on the electricity when we use it in the generator. Once it goes through the turbine that spins the generator, we extract some of that steam and we send that steam down to downtown Milwaukee. And they use it for all their food processing services, for their heating, and basically for sterilization of some of the processes that they have down there.
Well, like I mentioned, some major changes are going on. You touched on it. You said you're converting from coal to natural gas. Can we go inside and learn more about that process?
Sure, let's go ahead and take a look. Stu, this is a good place as any to start. Basically where we are right now is we're in front of one of the boilers, the number 4 boiler for Unit 2. And what we had here is when we were firing with coal, we had a coal pile out in the back. We would conveyor the coal up to the tripper deck, running along the top of these coal silos here, and they would drop coal into each of these silos. That would provide coal for the whole day, and it would drop down from here down to the ground floor where we've got pulverizers. And those pulverizers would pulverize the coal so that's a talcum consistency and bring it into the coal burners that we had, and that would be fired into the boiler.
But as you mentioned, We Energies is converting this power plant from coal to natural gas. Now, using natural gas to generate electricity and steam, is that a less complicated process?
It's less complicated. We don't have all the coal handling facilities that we used to have. We no longer have a coal pile out in the back. We don't have to bring coal in with barges any longer. We don't have to conveyor it up to the top of the silos, run it down, pulverize it, bring it into the boilers. The natural gas line that we put in, which is about a mile long from Ember Avenue, is coming to the site. New metering station, more volume of gas coming in, and basically comes into the burners here. It's like a big version of the home furnace.
Yeah, because when I think about a burner and heating, I'm thinking of my forced air natural gas or propane furnace. And in theory, it's probably similar, right? But this is just massive because you're heating our community.
The benefit here is that we have the ability to control the flow of gas into these burners, and you can shut off or turn on multiple levels of burners here to control how much steam you want to bring out of the boiler.
Okay, and again, the actual flame isn't being used so much for heat, it's being used to heat water, convert it to steam, to then generate the power.
That's correct.
Okay, so there must be massive expense for We Energies to convert it from coal to natural gas. Why are they going to that trouble?
The benefit here is that we are going to be saving the residential customers and consumers here millions of dollars over the long haul of the plant. So it's going to be cheaper to operate. We also have some benefits environmentally.
Sure.
The emissions are cleaned up considerably.
So these boilers over here, they're actually working.
That's correct. This is unit 1. Boilers 1 and 2 went commercial last November and were totally reliable throughout the winter and basically ran the whole time without an outage.
Okay, so this facility, through the conversion process, has been up and running. Yet you have a unit 1 that we're at and a unit 2. Is there ever a time where everything is running?
This plant is critical for downtown Milwaukee customers. If we lose the power generation, we can make it up with power from some of our other plants. However, we are the single source provider of steam for our customers downtown. Therefore, this plant has to operate 24/7 and provide steam at all times.
Is that why you have 2 different units then? It's really for redundancy?
For redundancy, generally, we normally operate during the winter time with 3 boilers in operation, 2 providing steam to downtown Milwaukee, 1 in standby, mode ready to go in case one of the other boilers trip, and the other one in reserve. In the summertime, we go down to 2 with 1 in reserve.
So I guess when you think about it, that really makes sense, because if there's customers depending on the steam and this were to go down totally, they'd be out of luck because there's no other way. I mean, where would you get the steam from?
That's correct, and that's why we have to continue to operate and make sure that these units are completely operational at all times to make sure that we supply the power for our customers.
So that said, when We Energies decided to go ahead with this conversion process, selecting the right competent and experienced contractor must have been of the utmost importance.
Absolutely. That's one of the reasons why we chose AECOM to be our general contractor on the site, and they're responsible to come in here and in the time frame allowed to put in all the burners and all the associated piping and control systems so that you can fire these gas burners at different levels. You can fire them all, fire 2 of them, depending on the demand, so that it all works at all times without any issues or problems. And it's also critical that we do not disturb the other operating unit while we're doing construction on unit 2. So we have to maintain unit 1 operations at all times. So we basically are very careful whenever we get on this side of the plant that we don't disturb anything over here while we're doing the conversion over on unit 2.
Well, Mike, I find this fascinating, all the power generation and how it operates. I wish we could spend the entire show here, but I'm going to learn more from the general contractor on the conversion process. But thank you for giving us a behind-the-scenes look.
Thanks, Stu.
Well, Stan, one thing I've noticed through the tour here at Valley Power Plant, there's a lot of activity. Now, in the background, I see some guys working. Is that part of the conversion process?
Yes, this is part of the gas conversion project. They're putting in a pressure control valve that feeds steam down to the city distribution system. These are Steamfitters in the background. They've been an integral part of installing this valve and all the other control systems around it.
And you know, as we walk by, it looked like some new gas piping going on in the background as well?
Yes, in the background, gentlemen, we're hauling in a new piece of gas pipe. That's a hookup from the gas line into the burner skids. They are also steam fitters. That's some of the things they get involved with. The instrumentation work, all of the gas lines in this plant, some of the steam fitting lines that we've been working with. So yeah, that's a lot of activity going on right now.
It's really impressive, especially to me. I love getting a chance to see behind the scenes. Now, as far as AECOM is concerned, you're the general contractor on this particular project.
Yes, we're the general contractor for the gas conversion project here at Valley Power Plant. We provided the engineering services to do the design up front. We've done some of the procurement exercises to get equipment in here, and we're also doing the construction portion, working with the local labor.
Now, it seems to me to be a pretty tight timeline. I mean, a couple of years to get this whole thing done.
Yes, this is actually phase 2. Due to the reliability of the plant and maintaining steam delivery to the city of Milwaukee, there's very specific time frames that we have to stick in to get this converted over and bring the system back up and get it running.
So that said, the quality and the expertise of the labor on this job must be of the utmost importance.
That's one of the things we really rely on. We have to have high quality work people to do the jobs we have to do, because we have to do it in a good, orderly fashion. We have to have quality work coming out of it, and we have to have a product we can turn over to our client, We Energies.
So that speaks volume to the training, I would imagine, that these 601 members go through?
Yes, it does. We do some additional testing to meet quality standards, but they come through, they pass the test, we get them out here, they're doing the welding. We've had exceptional performance on welding.
So each of these welds, when they're welding around a pipe, that gets tested to make sure it's not going to fail?
Correct. First we test them, they send out samples, they get checked, x-rayed. Next they come in, they do a fit up, they tack it. We have people inspect that. They start making their passes. We go through, and at the very end we do an x-ray to check the overall integrity of the weld.
So when I see whether it's a pipe this big or this big, they're going to x-ray every one of those to make sure that they're properly welded.
Everything that's in the pressure boundary, yes, it will be x-rayed.
You're kidding me. So when there's a pressure pipe, you can actually x-ray it to make sure it's not going to fail?
Yes, we can, and that gives us a good idea. We're looking for voids, and we've had a very good productive rate out of our welders.
Wow, this is amazing. I wish I could spend more time with you. I appreciate you coming on today's show. Right now, I'm going to go catch up with Chris, one of the steam fitters, to learn more about their role in the process.
Thank you, Stu. It's been my pleasure.
Wow, there's some guys doing some more welding. There certainly is a lot of welding going on in this project.
Sure is.
What is this contraption behind us?
Well, this is a gas regulating skid. We have one of these in front of every boiler. What it does is it takes the gas coming off the main steam header and regulates it down to a manageable
You know, it
pressure.
blows my mind. Each of these yellow pipes handles natural gas. That is a lot of natural gas at this power plant.
Yeah, definitely a lot of volume coming through here.
Okay, you know, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on today's show is to explain what a steam fitter is. We've all heard the term steam fitter, and we know it's in the building trades, but I'd venture to say that 99% of us don't have a clue what a steam fitter is. So here's your chance.
Yeah, steam fitters. Steam fitters basically we're mechanical piping system installers. We do everything from welded screwed pipe to soldering and brazing, setting equipment, rigging equipment, maintenance, repair, and HVAC work.
So is it fair to say steam fitters are really an integral aspect to large commercial or industrial projects?
We really are. That's our bread and butter in this trade.
And as I look around here, as I mentioned, a lot of welding. Is that one of the main aspects of a steam fitter on this project?
On this project, it's huge. We're dealing with a lot of critical piping paths that require a lot of welding.
Yeah, because anything under pressure, I was even told, needs to be x-rayed, which I found pretty fascinating.
Yeah, there's multiple tests that get done with our welds. We have magnetic particle testing, we have penetrant dye, and we also have x-rays.
Boy, now what is your role on this project?
My role on this project is a foreman over the steam fitters.
Okay, and the steam fitters then, how many do you have on site here?
I believe we're pushing close to 17 guys right now.
17
on
guys?
days, 10 at nights.
Really? So it's around the clock? Because again, it's a relatively tight timeline.
We are on a tight timeline. We're pushing around the clock.
Well, and you know, this really is a remodeling project on a grand scale. And my experience with new construction and remodeling is that new construction is a heck of a lot easier. And as I look around at the different components, these are big, rigid pipes that has to be fished through and around all this existing infrastructure. I mean, is that part of the challenge?
That is a huge challenge out here. Between all the old steel, the old piping that is demoed and needs to be demoed, we definitely have our work cut out for us.
Yeah, because you got to do all the rigging here. I assume that's part of a steam fitter's role, and then you got to get it in the right location. You got to do all the bends, and then you got to weld it, and then you got to test it to make sure it's all done correctly.
That's why we're working around the clock. We definitely have a timeline ahead of us, and it's not just a walk in the park out here.
Yeah, and that's really a testament to the training. And as I look at the training, does this environment, sure, it's a work environment, but does this also provide a training environment?
It really does. Between the guys working together here, we have guys that have advantages on some parts of the trade, and we have other guys who have advantages on other parts of the trade. We all come together, really mesh together, and really help out the ones that need help, and definitely advance where we can.
And you know, one thing I've learned is working with all the trades, it doesn't matter which trade it is, one of the joys of being in the trades is when you become a journey worker, you get to pass along that knowledge to the apprentices. And conversely, when you're an apprentice, you get to learn from all the experience of these journey workers. And what I've noticed is there's a great sense of pride that goes along with all that knowledge sharing.
There's a lot of years out here on this project, and the guys definitely like to pass on the good habits.
Well, you know, before you can get out here and start working, I know it takes a lot of training back at your training center. Would you mind taking us back there and shedding some light on that?
Let's go.
Are you ready for a career choice that rewards you for your hard work, compensates you for your knowledge and willingness to learn, pays you more money, provides better benefits, and offers a comfortable retirement? Then contact your local Steamfitters 601 Training Center and attend our next trade orientation. You'll learn about our complete 5-year apprenticeship program that's designed to help you progress from the basic on-the-job skills to the top of the welding and HVACR service industry. You also don't need a big down payment to start your steam fitter training. Just a good work ethic that includes showing up on time, working hard, and working smart. And better yet, you're well paid through your apprenticeship, and you earn more as you learn more. So make a career choice that's full of rewards and contact Steamfitters Local 601 today for more information.
Oh, Chris, this is a great training apparatus.
Yeah, it sure is.
Now, you know, when we were out at Valley Power, I was just blown away by the size and the magnitude of the project and all the pieces of equipment. And you said that they're essentially prefab. They arrive on site, and it's up to you guys to put them in place. Is this what these apprentices are learning?
This is exactly what they learn. They learn how to pick a piece of equipment safely, transfer it into the building, and then also navigate it through the structure itself.
And what exactly are they doing up top there today?
The guys are working on drifting a piece of equipment over and setting it into position. And the guys down below here are working on changing the valve out.
And you know what was interesting as I was watching them raise that piece of equipment up there, all the different facets that goes in. You think of a steam fitter, what a steam fitter does, and yeah, you're working on welding and pipes and things. But to get everything in place and to transport it, it looks very technical to me.
It is. From the minute it gets off the truck to the final application, you're figuring out how much stuff weighs, making sure the structure can hold it, making sure that it'll get in safely and soundly without damaging any of the equipment around it, and then final installation of overall passing it down.
And to me, there appeared to be a lot of communication going on, a lot of hand signaling.
It is. It's crucial between voice and hand signals. We got to make sure that everybody's on board and everybody understands what the next command is.
How important is this structure when it comes to teaching safety?
It's crucial. We have the apprentices up there, they're harnessed off. They get some more of the heights, get some more of understanding that they do have to follow all safety precautions when it comes to some of this high rigging and as well as the heavy equipment that we deal with every day.
So if you're a steam fitter and you're going through the apprenticeship process or even ongoing training, does every steam fitter go through this type of training?
They do. They start out in the beginning of their first year apprenticeship. They come out through a basic rigging course, use and carry tools course, understand what the tools are, how to safely operate them, and then by the time they're fifth year, they end up doing an advanced rigging course.
Sure. And then you yourself, I know you're out on site doing projects, working in our communities, but you're also an instructor here.
I am, and that's one of the benefits about having our instructors also working out in the field. They kind of see the demand as to what needs we really need to improve on, as well as the demands that our contractors are looking for.
Well, you know, when I think about career choices out there for our younger next generation, the more I learn about steam fitters, the more excited I get. Are you happy with your career choice?
Oh, I love it. Probably the best choice I ever made.
Well, I'm going to let you get back to doing what you do best, and that is passing on your knowledge, teaching these apprentices. As I understand it, Paul's running a welding class. I'm going to go learn more about that.
All right.
Very impressive. Every one of these booths has an apprentice in learning welding. Now, what are we looking at? Where are we here?
Well, this is the Milwaukee Weld Shop. We have 24 booths here and another 24 in Madison.
Wow. So 48 booths. Welding is that popular within the steam fitter trade?
It's a very important part of our trade. There's always a demand for high quality skilled welders.
Okay, so what exactly are the apprentices learning here?
Well, they're learning the basic pipe welding technique in here. They started out 6 months ago just learning how to weld on plate. Now they've graduated to pipe and they're learning the basic stick welding technique.
And so welding isn't welding. I mean, there's different types of welding out there?
There's several different processes. The stick is the foundation for everything. You learn fundamentals on that. There's TIG welding, MIG welding, and flux core on all different kinds of material.
Okay, so what is a TIG welding or MIG welding or flux core?
TIG welding is a non-consumable electrode that melts the steel and you add the filler manually by hand. MIG welding is a wire feed process that feeds the material. It's still an arc, and flux core goes in a little hotter, a little faster, and deposits a lot more metal.
Sounds like it's very technical. How many hours of training do these apprentices go through?
The apprentices get approximately 500 hours of training in the stick welding. The welding is the hardest skill that we have to learn, and it takes the longest to learn it.
And so that's what you try to do here, is teach them the right way to do it. And then what are you looking for as an instructor? How do you know that your knowledge is being passed on properly?
It starts with the root, where they get a real consistent reinforcement inside, uniform, it's all tied in. The fill passes have to be even and consistent, and then the completed weld has to look good and meet certain inspection criteria. They didn't miss an edge, it has to be smooth and uniform, it can't be too heavy, so it has to be a uniform, high-quality weld.
Sounds like the type of training that could lead to a lot of frustration, but do you find that journey workers like to come back here and learn cutting-edge stuff?
Oh yeah, we get a lot of people come for open welding to upgrade, learn different processes, get different certifications in the different processes.
Do different types of steel, different types of material weld differently?
Yeah, stainless welds different than carbon steel. Some of the higher alloys that have more contents of chrome weld different. They all got to be handled a little bit differently.
And it's up to you to teach the apprentices that, and the ongoing journey workers there as well. Now, I've heard in some places, like even down at Valley Power, I think it was, they were actually X-raying some of the welds. Why would you do that?
Well, that is what they call critical path piping, the high pressure steam, the high pressure gas, the boiler feed water. That is an area, there's no margin for error. It needs to be good quality right out of the box.
So not all welds are X-rayed, but the capabilities exist out there where you better weld that perfectly in a critical area, not only for functionality, I assume, but also for safety.
Safety and the longevity of the system.
Well, I really appreciate you taking time out of your teaching schedule. I'll let you get back to the apprentices. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks.
Well, Joel, this is perfect. What I learned on today's show is that welding plays an integral role every day with the Steamfitters, and this appears to be a welded UA 601 sign made by your members?
It certainly is, Stu, and I'll tell you what, you are absolutely right. Welding is one of the most critical aspects to our trade. Now, this was done by last year's day school apprenticeship class, and what they did is cut the pieces, welded them up, and installed it. So very talented guys.
Very talented, and I tell you, if they can do it that well, the future looks bright, that's for sure. And you know, throughout today's show, we started out at Valley Power. I was blown away by the magnitude of that. Then we had a chance earlier to catch up with Chris to learn about rigging, learned about welding with Paul, all the training that goes into it. This is a training campus, for lack of better. Who pays for it all? I've been dying to find out.
This is all paid for over the years by guys who have retired. They've come and gone before us, and it's our active membership. We pay in every hour to the tune of about $2.1 million a year.
Holy cow, so the membership pays for this. There's no federal or state tax dollars going to this training campus, as I would call it?
100% paid for by the membership.
Wow, that is wonderful. It's such a hidden secret. I'm so glad we have an opportunity to shed some light on it, that your membership values training that much and ongoing training for the journey workers, that you build a facility like this.
This is absolutely what is required for our trade, and I'll tell you what, we've got some exciting things coming up. We're going to be expanding this building. We've also purchased a lot in Madison, and we're going to be putting up a whole new facility out there to the tune totally of $8 million plus.
And again, $8 million plus in Steamfitter infrastructure that's on the horizon, and that's all membership money, no state dollars going to it.
Correct.
So if I'm a young individual, maybe in high school, maybe just out of high school, or even in my mid-30s looking for a career path, are the doors open here at 601?
Absolutely. We've got everyone from high school graduates all the way up to guys that have been, they're 40 years old plus. And I'll tell you what, there's always been the perception that this is a closed club, that it's hard to get into, that you have to know somebody or be a family member. That's not true. We want everyone to feel welcome to come here, and probably the best way to do that, get on our website and check out the trade orientations. Those are done monthly, and everyone is welcome.
Well, it's great to hear that the future looks bright. You're always looking for good, hardworking individuals. I appreciate you taking some time out today to shed a little light on it.
My pleasure.
The preceding program was sponsored by the Building Wisconsin Television Network.